The captain secretly poured 3 bottles of Sprite into the juice. None of the 100 passengers on the plane noticed. He skillfully disposed of the bottles. Then he drank the juice in one gulp. Then he handed over the airplane to the co-pilot and started to sleep. The new co-pilot was shocked by this maneuver, but the stewardess was very calm. She smiled and told the co-pilot to get used to it. Luckily, the plane flew steadily all the way. Soon the plane arrived at the destination and was ready to land. Suddenly, the plane's elevator failed. The passengers were panicked by the violent shaking and bumping. Faced with the unexpected situation, the co-pilot was also very frightened. Only the captain, who had just woken up, remained calm. He immediately asked the stewardess to tell the passengers to fasten their seat belts. Just as he was about to take over the plane, there was another shaking. The plane began to dive rapidly downward. He told the co-pilot to pull the elevator, but the vertical takeoff and landing controls were completely out of whack. The captain immediately contacted the tower to report the situation. In order to reduce the speed of the crash, he needed to reduce the weight of the plane. The captain ordered the co-pilot to drain the fuel. Then he opened the gears and lowered the landing gear, but it's still too fast. They're already below 6,400 meters. The plane is in an emergency landing situation. The captain decided to make an emergency landing at the nearest airport. At this point, the captain decided to change the plane to manual control. But this plane, number 227, weighs 50 tons. It's not an easy plane to control. The plane is still plummeting. The houses on the ground are clearly visible. In order to avoid the residential area, the captain made a bold decision. To stop the descent, he had to turn the plane around. Then he turned the stick to the left. With the co-pilot and the crew chief, the co-pilot and the crew chief worked together. The fuselage began to tilt gradually to the left, and as the power continued to build, the whole fuselage began to flip. Flying inverted, the airplane glides horizontally. The plane managed to avoid the residential area, but the plane's engine was on fire. They couldn't reach the designated alternate airport, so the captain decided to land in a clearing on the far side. He carefully reoriented the plane, but he crashed into the ground. Before he passed out, the captain saw himself being dragged out of the plane. The fuselage broke into 2 pieces, but fortunately, he drained the fuel beforehand. Without causing an explosion,